what the state of viewership report also shows is, the state of linear is driving the advancement in CTV. So, we're all at a CTV conference because the state of linear is in that particular state, right? Because we know that audiences are shifting to, a non-linear environment. So, the fact that people are moving, obviously the fragmentation, is driving this kind of growth in CTV.
Yeah, it's all our fault.
I know.
The report also had a lot about the types of advertisers that are over-indexing maybe on linear right now. One thing that really stuck out was travel. Like, we're now out of our homes again. Now we're able to do things and go places. So that insight, I would say, was pretty powerful for me, because then it was the sense of how does that sort of impact other strategies and stuff. Now people are out of their homes. Now people are going places. That fits the cross-screen approach you have, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And we sort of see two opportunities for advertisers. There's one which is, around reaching those linear sort of commercial TV audiences that are being hard to reach. And we have a coined term for that around elusive audiences. So they could be like gamers or heavy SVOD streamers or things like that. But the second opportunity that TV data really brings is around audiences, kind of new audiences to advertisers that they weren't previously able to advertise to. So a good example of that is like Wimbledon. Wimbledon is a great tentpole event. People will tune in linearly to watch that. However, it's non-ad supported. And typically there are 4 or 5 mainstream advertisers that advertise in that particular piece of content. You will have other advertisers that will want to associate themselves with Wimbledon. A lot of the supermarkets will be, doing picnics and PIMS, etc. But they don't get the opportunity to advertise within Wimbledon. With the TV data that we have, we can find those audiences that are watching Wimbledon, or related tennis shows, and bring kind of advertising opportunities to those advertisers. And kind of again, they fit within that 45%, right? They're not seeing the TV ads. They're only seeing a small number of TV ads in a certain day.
So tell me how Samba's sort of operating today. Xander's built for data. We empower a lot of our partners. We have ability to kind of give you the full stack. So how have you been impacted with our stack?
Yeah, so Samba as a business, we launched about 6 years ago in the UK, and we've traditionally run a very sort of managed business. We've kind of gone out to agencies. We talked to them about reaching these elusive audiences and how we can complement their TV strategies. And we've done that on a managed basis. About a year ago, we started working with partners like yourselves, SSPs, and it gave us the ability to syndicate our audiences, or these TV audiences, out into the open marketplace. One of the key things for us has been around privacy, and we are a first-party data collector. We have 100% opt-in from our data. So when a consumer switches on one of our TVs, they are given an opt-in screen, and as a data owner and controller, we're quite precious about that. So the products that kind of Xander brought, the Curate product, allowed us to maintain control of that privacy over our data and not allowing it to be used or abused so to speak. And that has really grown. And so a lot of advertisers are moving towards programmatic activation options, and we weren't able to service that until you guys have come up with these products.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a supply management platform that a data owner or just an asset monetizer can really leverage. So thanks for being an early adopter.
Well, I think it means that we're the data provider, you bring the supply, and the combined collaboration means we can deliver audiences. And I think that's the key thing. Advertisers are really interested in the audiences rather than the supply and the data, although both equally an important part. The sum of the parts is greater than the whole.
Yeah, we were talking before about kind of how audience is the unifying factor. Like, we want broadcasters, publishers, content owners, they want the audience experience to be super high. They want to have great engagement. They want to keep them coming back for more. They want to increase the eyeballs. So that's their sort of mission. And advertisers want to get in front of them, but it's that data piece and that measurement piece and that multi-screen piece that's sort of kind of the fulcrum of it all. So unifying around a good audience experience and protected audience data, what's next for Samba?
Yeah, so we've seen a lot of presentations, and there was an interesting presentation yesterday about kind of the revenues and the forecasts for global markets across the next couple of years. And the highlight for me on that presentation was that the US is a completely different beast to the rest of the world, which is quite nice because my job is the rest of the world and not the US. And what I get challenged with, because Sam is obviously a US business, is the growth of CTV in the US is just blowing everyone out of the water. It's a huge, the choice of content and the number of platforms is kind of a next level to where we are in Europe and Australia, etc. And so I get challenged as how do we sort of mirror those opportunities and mirror that in the UK. We have challenges, and that's what, again, these conferences are about. It's talking about the challenges. We have an identity challenge within connected TV. There are lots of different apps, broadcasters, walled gardens, and that presents a challenge about people wanting to share their data. We also have challenges around measurement. As you say, if advertisers want to spend money in the space, they want equally good measurement, and the sort of supply path as well. So one of the things that I've been thinking about, certainly for the last 4 or 5 years, we've been a cross-screen business. So the work we do with Xandr, delivering audiences across digital devices. What I've been thinking about is how do I solve this CTV sort of challenge? But as thinking about that, I've kind of thought a bit more broader and thinking, well, actually, there is a common sort of field or variable or stitching thread across media, not just CTV, not just TV, but out of home, radio, cinema, everything, and that's location. So we understand the IP address from these TVs because they're smart TVs and you get an IP address, and if you can use that sort of IP resolution to understand the location of a device, suddenly you can synchronize that £5 billion of TV spend. And this is really where the value creation comes in, right? So you've got £5 billion of TV spend that currently sort of sits in silo with the rest of a media plan. And again, not just the digital piece, not just the YouTube piece, not just the broadcast of VOD piece, but it sort of sits in silo. And so across all those mediums I've just talked about, location is a common factor. And so what we can do is we can analyze the TV viewership of what's going on TVs and produce insights regarding location, and then provide that to advertisers to then suddenly go, okay, I know where my TV campaign was underexposed in certain regions. And the beauty of this is it's granular, right? So as a great example, Barb, fantastic measurement body in the UK, the limitation that they have around reporting at a granular level is that they only have a relatively small panel. So they can report at 14, 15 TV regions. We have the ability to report 3,000 postal district levels, and we know that demographics and behaviours change by those regions. So we can report at a granular way. We have deeper understanding of what's going on in those locations, and that allows sort of advertisers the opportunity to bring that synchronization of TV spend to other media. I guess what we want to do is change ourselves from being a cross-screen business to a cross-media business with TV, driving that spend across media.
Well, it's the best storytelling medium, and then you kind of make it a expanded process to follow the consumer throughout their whole day and make sure
Correct.
that the storytelling is relevant is pretty much the key we've all been working towards in programmatic for many, many years.
Absolutely.
So I think we're at time. I don't think if there are any questions, please do voice them.
Do you have a top question?
I suggest, because we're a little bit up against it for time, and we're going to eat towards the break. So I think Jay and Austin will be around for the next hour and a half and during lunch.
Yep.
So come and grab them with your complicated questions then. Jay and Austin, thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
And now, moving swiftly along, gives me great pleasure.